Cole Gladkey, and today I'm going to present to you some of the tools that you can use, or most of the tools you can use for OneNote on the iPad. So let me ask you, do you have the OneNote app downloaded on your iPad currently? Do you have an iPad currently that you're using for work? Not yet. Okay. Has anyone been thinking about whether they should get the iPad or whether they should get the Surface, the Microsoft Surface? Okay, so all right, so when you do get your iPad, or for Rick's case, he already has his iPad, you'll need to go to the App Store to download the OneNote app, and that looks like this little purple one at the bottom right. So I'm going to be tapping on my screen, but you won't be able to see my tapping on the screen because I can't project that. So I'm going to try to describe what I'm doing as I'm tapping so you can get an idea. So if I want to open up the OneNote app, I just, tap on it to open it. And then it works just like you normally would use an iPad. If you want, you can put two fingers on the screen and pinch it to shrink a page or to, enlarge it a little bit. Let me just make sure that looks good. Okay, so I hope that looks good for everybody. So you'll need to download the app, and then you'll need to log in with your Stony Brook credentials so you can have access to um, all the Office 365 apps, and your OneNote files will be stored on OneDrive in the Office 365 portal. In the Office 365 portal, if you wanted to log in, it is Stony Brook. I'm typing it in the chat. stonybrook.edu/office 365. Okay. You could take a look at that. You can see what you already have in OneDrive if you have anything. But what will happen is all of your OneNote files will be stored in OneDrive. Okay. So why do we want to use OneNote? Well, I'm just going to go down to the pages down here. I did have this presentation in slides, like a PowerPoint, but then I thought it might be better to demonstrate inside OneNote. So we're going to kind of use OneNote as a presentation tool. So the benefits, the second slide, you can, just by taking your device with you, you take your notes everywhere. So if you put all of your notes on in OneNote, you don't need to have the notebooks, paper notebooks. You have the benefit of the keyword searchable, and I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. But you can actually, if you wanted to find something in your notes, you could just type in a keyword and find it. You can't do that with a notebook, and I lose notebooks all the time. Welcome, Jeff. Let me know you can hear me by typing into the chat. We've just gotten started. And then another thing you can do is share your notebooks. If I wanted to share a notebook with you, but not all of my notes with you, I would have to create a separate notebook to share that notebook with you. You can only share at the notebook level, so I can't share certain pieces of the notebook. I'd have to share an entire notebook with you. So keep that in mind when you share notebooks. So to get OneNote, on your computer, if you have a PC that is managed by client support, then you might already have OneNote. You just have to do a keyword search for it in the Start menu, or do a Windows update. You can also get OneNote from the portal, stonybrook.edu/office 365. And let me just do a little something here. Turn on the highlighting tool so at least you can see where I'm talking. And if you're not sure, obviously call client support. And then for your phone or your tablet, you want to go to the App Store or Google Play, depending on what type of device you have. So I don't know if Jeff can hear me. He just entered the room, so I'm going to just send a little message. Hi, Jeff. Can you hear me? All right. So signing in is pretty easy. You'll be brought to a sign-in screen. When you sign in, make sure you put your Stony Brook credentials. East Campus users will use their first.last at stonybrookmedicine.edu, and right here. And then you'll be brought into more of a sign-in page. I don't know what the login for the Stony Brook Medicine users is here. You'll have to discuss that. You can call Help Me at 444-HELP, I think is the number, to make sure you know what those credentials are. But for West Campus users, it's your NetID password for the password. Okay. All right, looks like some people are typing. Okay, so it's Jeff says I can, but volume is low. Is that the same for everybody? Okay, it sounds like Jeff might have turned up his volume, I think. Rick looks like he's typing. NetID and NetID password for you. Okay, great, Rick. Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that. So it's not just text on paper. There's so much more you can do. There's ways of organizing your pages. You can throw in images. I'll show you that in a minute. You can take audio. You can input equations and handwrite your notes. I feel like sometimes when I'm typing my notes, I lose a little something. But when I write my notes, I recall it a lot better. I can use the camera to insert images. I can put hyperlinks in. There's even more functionality when you use OneNote on your PC or Mac. So while we're talking about that, OneNote for the iPad has a lot of tools that you can use, but on a PC or Mac it has more. And let's take a look at that. So these two boxes here are a screenshot of the menu items. For the first one is for the iPad, okay, and you can see here it has four. It has Home, Insert, Draw, and View, okay, and it has a lot of useful features there. But if you're going to use OneNote on a PC or Surface, you have a lot more menus, as you can see in the bottom screenshot. And the best part about this is that you can create your OneNote notebook, take your iPad with you to whatever meetings or classes you have, take your notes, and then whatever notes you take, you can hop onto your PC or Mac and have more features to use. So, onto the same notebook. So it works on the same notebooks work on multiple devices. You can access it anywhere. And best of all, you don't need to be on your own computer to access your OneNote notebooks. You can sign into the portal that we talked about before in signing in up here. Is it? No, I didn't. I didn't put it. Oh, I put the link in the chat. You can sign into the portal and use the online version of OneNote. So you don't even have to have OneNote installed on your device. You can just sign in and use OneNote and type in more notes and things like that. Okay, so it's a very versatile tool. Oh, back here. Okay, so this is a screenshot, 4 screenshots. On the first one up here is the PC or Surface program. The Surface is in Microsoft's version of the iPad, except it has full Windows installed on it, so it works just like Windows, except it's just a screen. Mac, for any Apple computers, you have some menu items, there you can see that the menus are structured differently, but you have most of the same tools there. Then the third screenshot looks like there's some sort of cut or line in between. I don't know why it's doing that, but so online you have some tools, but not as many tools as all the other apps, as PC and Mac and iPad. Okay, and then the iPad we already saw, which is down at the bottom. Any questions on that? So essentially you can get to your OneNote on any device as long as you sign in. Let's just talk quickly about keyword searches. I was able to write something with my very neat handwriting, and I was able to find it in the search on my iPad. So essentially, what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that OneNote can keyword search handwritten text, which I think is pretty interesting. Okay, so for example, I had this screenshot here is showing you that it found the word loves, L-O-V-E-S. You can also take a picture of typed text, and it does a lot better at finding, figuring out what that text is. So here I took a picture of some typed text, and this is what it thought it was. So that's how it translated it. And whenever you take a picture of text, you have to, and you can only do this on a PC or Mac or a Surface, not on the iPad. If you take a picture, bring this notebook up onto your PC or Mac, right-click on it. Oh wait, that's not it. This one is it. Right-click on the image, and then click on Make Text in Image Searchable. I'll share this presentation with you so that way you have these instructions as well. Okay. And then this screenshot is just showing you I was able to copy text from picture. So it copied this text from the picture, and this is what it thought it was. So sometimes it's not always that good. You can see here this is the English version of the Latin, and you can see here it's not always that great. It could be my handwriting, but you know. Okay, so that's the end of this portion of the webinar. I just want to demonstrate some of the tools. So up on top, if I click on the three lines up at the top left, this will tell me what notebooks I have access to. And if you look down towards the bottom of the list, I can create a new notebook. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a new notebook. I'm going to call it Practice. And remember, oops, it didn't do it. Let me see. I'm using a keyboard that's connected, and it's not always responding for some reason today. So 914. Okay, good enough. Create, and it's going to create in the OneDrive-Stony Brook University account. When you open up Word or Excel and you save it, you might see that location. That's going to save to your OneDrive. Now, if there's anything here that you want to practice or learn more about, I'm happy to sort of connect with you one-on-one and help you get through the things that you want to do with OneNote. So let's start off with the home button. Okay, you could see here that up on top is your tabs at the top left, and I can add new tabs. Oops. Okay, you can think of those tabs as like chapters of a book, and each chapter will have a bunch of pages going down the left. So for example, if you're using OneNote for all your classes, maybe each tab would be a class, and then each page would be like a new meeting time for the class or a new topic of that class. If you're professional staff, maybe each chapter or tab would be a new project that you're working on or meeting or committee, and then each page would be every time notes on every time you meet. Okay, and then you can see here under the home screen, under the home menu, you have your bold, italics, underline, bullets, and all that good stuff. So, but this is interesting. Let me just go back here. I'm going to call this meeting 1, and then go down. So if you can see here, you have this little checkbox, and I think that's really cute. So you can have an action items list. So do this, do that, do nothing. Okay, you get the idea, right? And then what you can do is you can check off the things that you do when you're finished with them. So you can use that as an action items. You also have the ability, if I just touch somewhere else in the screen, I can use the star, which is the same thing as the action items. Okay. Okay. So you'll also notice that as I'm moving around on the page, I can put my insertion point anywhere on the page. I'm not limited to, like in Microsoft Word, where you have to hit enter a few times to make some space and to make some lines. Okay, so I see Jeff has written a comment. Book chapter is a great metaphor. Mind if I borrow? Of course, Jeff, thank you. I don't always see when somebody types in a question, so sometimes I have to take a break and take a look, so I apologize for that. All right, so let's go to the next menu item. Insert is probably one of the more fun ones. I'm going to make a new page. I'm just going to, okay. Oh, all right, I give up. All right. You can see here that I spelt insert wrong, and it has 3 dotted lines underneath. So let's see how good the spell check is. Oh, it's great. Insert. Thank you. Okay. So now, just one thing I want to show you that I always found, I don't know if I found it annoying or puzzling, but so if you notice, my insertion point is nowhere on this page. But let's say I want to use camera and I keep pressing on it and nothing happens because all the menu items are grayed out. And this always catches me. I always have to remember to put my insertion point on the page, and as soon as I do, you'll see that all the menu items kind of light up. Okay, so don't let that alarm you. I always make that mistake. Anyway, you can add a table. So a table is just a bunch of boxes put together, so you can make like, a table of numbers, like, Excel, so on and so forth. The next one up is a picture. You can pull a picture from your camera roll. So what pictures do I have in here? I guess, oh, this is a good one. If you're in a meeting, you can kind of take a picture, if you take a good picture, of the whiteboard that you're working on. Okay. I'm going to undo. If you see on the top left, there's the undo button. And so camera, see how it grayed out again? That is so annoying. So I'm going to press for my insertion point and take a picture of what's going on my desk here. So you could see here I got my PC, which is connected to my microphone, and that's how I'm talking to you. And then I also have another computer which allows me to see the connect window so I can see all the comments. And in that blank space right there is where my iPad is. So I'm actually looking at 3 different screens simultaneously. So I'm just going to take a big picture and put that right into my OneNote. I hit the checkbox. Actually, the little check, I don't know if you can see it. It's on the bottom right, and that will insert it for me into my OneNote page. Okay, how are we doing? Everybody still with me? Do I still have your interest? All right. Audio. This is fantastic. Audio is, let me make a new page and I'll just type audio. All right. Enter. I hit enter, nothing happens. I actually have to touch to go down into the page. So audio uses the microphone from the iPad. And usually the next question I always get is, well, can I just take audio of my lectures or the meeting room? And I'll say no in general because the microphone is not that powerful. But if you want to speak right to your iPad, it is great. It's a great way to capture notes if you like to think while talking. So I'm going to stop this. Let me see if it plays. I don't think it's going to play for us because I don't think you guys will hear it because we're using Adobe Connect and all these other things, but I will try. So you tap on it and you hit that little play button. Can you hear that? iPad. And usually the next question, I don't know if you can hear it. It's coming out of my speakers. I don't really like to hear my own voice. All right, great. Okay, so you kind of get the idea. Okay, so let's see, what do we have for audio? Now, with audio, there's a caveat if you're using a PC and an iPad. Now, when I want to go play this page, this audio, onto my PC, it's not going to work, okay? And I couldn't find a really good definition as to why. The audio that gets recorded here is an MP4. It always works fine on the iPad. When I try to do it on a PC, when I try to listen to it on a PC, even though it's an MP4, it won't do it. There is an error. It's some sort of bug that Microsoft hasn't resolved yet. There is a way to work around that. To listen to this specific audio onto my PC, I have to right-click and convert to MP4. And that is, if I go to my, and I'll share this with you again. Where is it? Welcome to OneNote. That's listed here on how to listen to that audio. Okay. All right. So let me go back to my practice. And again, I'll share that with you. Okay, so next we have file. You can insert a file from wherever you have locations. For an example of a location would be Google Drive. That's all I have loaded onto here. If you click on locations, you can add others like, I'm assuming Dropbox and a couple of others. I just don't have many locations loaded onto here, but you can find what locations you have by clicking on more. Okay, all right, so done. And then PDF printout, I think it's kind of silly. So I thought it was going to print my OneNote page into a PDF, but it does not. What it does is it goes to your locations and pulls in any PDFs that you have at your location. So I don't know how useful that is for you, but you know, there's a PDF right there. There's another PDF. So, you know, it's there if you need it. It's there. And then you can do links. So, so I'm just going to add a link. Oops, I got to tap, add a link. So the link would be, I want to do stonybrook.edu, and then here I'm just going to call it SBU, and that will be a hyperlink. Okay. All right, and then equations. If you want to do an equation, it's a oh okay. So you can do let me see. Where's my equation? I want to make sure I get this right. So it's A, and then you do the little caret thing above 6. A2 plus B caret 2. Oops. Equals C. Okay, and then that's how you do an equation. You tap equation and then type the equation. Okay. Um, and then the date, you just tap it and it enters the date in. All right, so just to divert a little bit, you see on top you have this little magnifying glass. You can tap that, do a search for Mac. I did this previously, so it saved my last search. And then I can find the word Mac on any one of my workbooks, and not just the workbook that I'm in, but you can see here it's on my Welcome to OneNote workbook, my Nicole at Work workbook, and a couple of other practice workbooks. Okay, so you can see here it found Mac in a number of different places. Here's my, here you can see here it brings up this workbook, but it found Mac on this image. So, and by the way, that's called OCR, where a computer can recognize text in an image. Okay, so let me go back to what I was working on, my practice notebook. Okay. All right, let's go to draw. Draw is fun. Okay, draw, and I'll just do a new page. Draw. Thank you. All right. So draw, I can, first, before you draw, you want to click on drawing mode or tap drawing mode. And then if you have so you have two options here for styluses. If you guys want a cheap little stylus, just send me an email and I'll send it to you through interoffice mail. I have a number of them that you can use. And then when you get it, you can type in other, tap other, and then choose how you hold your pen. So I generally hold my pen like that. And then that way when you're drawing, if your palm rests on the page, it will likely not take that as a drawing as well when your palm's on the page as well as, it'll understand where the point is. So you want to do that first. By the way, this pencil by 53 is like a $53 device, and it acts like a stylus, but it's a super duper stylus. So that way, what I mean by that is with this regular stylus, I can draw. So for example, I'll just do blue, and then I'll draw something. I'm drawing with my finger right now. And then with the stylus by 53, I can flip it over and erase what I drew. But since I have a regular stylus, I have to press the eraser button to erase what I drew. So and then also the stylus by 53, if you press harder, it will act like it will make your lines thicker if you press harder. Otherwise, if you have a regular one, you have to use this plus and minus sign that you see in the middle of the screen. Okay, so you can pick a number of different types of markers to use. You can use the highlight marker and change the color. You can change to other colors that they don't have available. But this is interesting, this convert to shapes. So I'm just going to do new page and call it shapes and show you how that works. Oops, I got to go back to text mode. Okay, so if I want to make a shape, for example, let's say I wanted to, oops, convert to shape. Oh, and I got to press a pen. Let's say I wanted to draw a layout for where the table should be for some event. So I can say, okay, the podium is over here, and then automatically makes it really nice. And then there's a table here, and a table here, and a table here, and a table here, you know, and then maybe in another color, you can say like, you know, where the plugs are, so that way they know where to plug everything and, you know, something like that. So you can use it to draw layouts. That's what I envision using it. Okay. The last thing, view over here, you know, it just, you can change your page width, your page color. You can password protect a page, and then you can turn on and off the spelling. If you look at the top right, you see a little person with a plus sign. That just lets you know that's where you can share the workbook with somebody or email a page or copy a link to Notebook. Okay. One thing that you can do here is I'll just make a new page and do my name. Okay. If I wanted to draw my name, okay, there's not an option in this app to convert what I drew into typed text, but there is an option in on the PC, and I'll show you that. Okay, and that would be under it would be under draw. I don't know if you can see this, but it would be under draw and then ink to text. So it will look for everything that's in ink or handwritten and render it as typed text. So that's a tool that you can use if you want. Rick says, yikes. I'm just looking at the chat again. Was there something that's puzzling to you, Rick? Oh, I did see we went over. That's about as much content that I have for you. Again, I am recording this so I can send it to you if you want to look at it. Oh, the price of the yes, yes, that is very expensive, but considering the price of a Microsoft Surface Pro, it might be the better way to go if you're an artist and you want to use like OneNote to capture your art or something like that. So, do we have any questions? Again, if you have trouble signing in or anything like that, I would be happy to connect with you over the phone and get you started and going and hopefully spurring ideas on how to use this tool to make your life easier at work or at school. Are you looking at it on a PC? It's not on the iPad. I'm answering Rick's question. He says he doesn't see the convert to shapes feature. Oh, I'm sorry. I I'm sorry. I apologize. If you go to, it's in draw. So I'm looking at it right now. You don't see it? You're on your iPad. Okay. Do you see drawing mode? So, okay, because I'm getting a little confused. So convert to shapes is on the iPad, but convert ink to text is only on the PC and possibly Mac. How are you doing, Edisola? Did I say that right? You know what, Rick? Send me a screenshot of it. Do you know how to do a screenshot? You press the home button, the only one button on the face of the iPad, and then you press that side or top button of the iPad. And when you press them together, it makes a screenshot. Email me that. Okay, great, Rick. All right, any other questions? Yes, the screen captures just like the iPhone. All right, Rick. Well, I hope you use it well, and I would appreciate any, like, if you're using it and you're using it successfully, I would appreciate any feedback on that. And I always love to know how people use the tools for their daily work lives or school lives, and then that way I can learn how you guys use it and incorporate that into my future workshops, because I'm sure a lot of other people would love to hear about that as well. So if there's no other questions, I want to thank you for attending. I'll stay on for a few more minutes in case anyone thinks of any questions, but otherwise, have a wonderful day.